E tu mettiti qua, Antonella. O mettiti vicino. C'è anche Ludovico è qua. Però... Ok, per favore prendete posto il più rapidamente possibile, chiudiamo la porta, poi chi deve entrare entra dopo perché è già collegato il Presidente del Parlamento ucraino. Quindi mi sembra, ecco, magari anche un attimo di silenzio. Ludovico, do you come here? Or... Oh, non so, no? When we are are we already connected with can our Ukrainian friend hear me? Okay, just let me know when they're in. So okay. So I'm with some emotion. I can say that we are now connected from University of Pavia, and I see all friends in Ukraine. Just a couple of words, and then I will listen to you. Here there are all the 7 university campus with the university administration and technology centers. I am the rector of University of Pavia, Francesco Svelto, and we are really happy to announce right now and today that also University Ivan Franco of Lynn is joining us in this network. And we are very happy and keen to work all together. So I give the stage and ask to the Vice Rector, Sergei Riznik, to tell us. And again, I'm very happy to know you are with us. Please.
Dear colleagues, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to you for giving me the floor. I would like, first of all, to introduce the rector of our Ivan Franko National University of Lviv, Vladimir Melnik, our vice rectors, and today we have a special guest here. I have a great honor to introduce Ruslan Stefanchuk, the chairman of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, member of the National Security and Defense Council of Ukraine, and Mr. Stefanchuk is also co-chairman of the NATO-Ukraine Inter-Parliamentary Council and famous scientist and member of National Academy of Legal Sciences of Ukraine. So, Mr. Chairman, the floor is yours.
Thank you. If it's possible, I'll speak in Ukrainian for the save the some shadow of my speech, okay?
Highly esteemed Mr. Rector, highly esteemed rectors, honorable ladies and gentlemen, representatives of the academic community. You know that Ukraine is now fighting in a war against the Russian aggression, but this war started back in 2014 when the enemy started tearing apart our territory, trying to intimidate our citizens, to make them change their opinions. They wanted to take charge of our domestic and foreign policy, and they have been using all possible means to do that. I would like to thank you for both making this proposal to the Lviv University to join the Alliance of the European Universities as an associate member. Taking into account this situation, I would like to honor the work of the university, especially in this hard time when they keep fighting on the educational front. They have resumed the educational process, and they have been participating in various international conferences, seminars, demo lectures, publishing in press and social media, helping the displaced people and collecting humanitarian aid. This is great work which is for the benefit of the whole Ukrainian nation. And today, as never before, the consolidation of the European continent is especially important. And the academic community of Ukraine has addressed the European Commission, the European Parliament, the Council of Europe, and every member state of the European Union with an open letter calling them to stop cooperating with Russian institutions at a systemic and institutional levels, to stop financing the research and educational projects implemented together with the Russian institutions, and to suspend their membership in international organizations until the end of the war. And well, the world has never seen the atrocities that we have seen in Ukraine. And the Verkhovna Rada and the government of Ukraine have been very active in trying to prove that Ukraine is worthy of becoming an equal member of the European Union, because we are defending our right to decent democratic life with European values. So, well, it's worth also mentioning that international cooperation in education is important to inform about the situation in Ukraine, not only in academic, but also in political, social, and economic life. And well, that's why I'm very happy that we have this important event today. And we can say that, well, the victory will definitely be ours. And we will be doing everything possible on our part to make sure that our system of education will implement the values of freedom and democracy. It's an honor for us to see that you are ready to stand side by side with us and help us defend the rights and freedoms of people. And to conclude, I would like to also add a couple of words and say that it's a great honor for me to be present here during this very important event, an event which is important for the whole European educational process. And I promise you that we'll keep fighting and we will prevail. Thank you very much. Glory to Ukraine. Now we give the floor back to you.
Giving the floor back to you, Applaudissement.
Okay, I think it was a very nice start. Now we can start the opening. So thank you, Vice Rector and President. We are actually really honored to accept your university as a member of our EC2U community. So let's start, dear professor, associate partner, student representative, well, dear all friends, municipality. I'm very, very honored to open this event. It is the first forum for our alliance, European Alliance of City Universities. And the acronym that I think is becoming familiar more and more is EC2U. So you will hear this acronym a lot of time at this event. I don't want to steal much time because we have a quite busy program. So I really like to thanks you to be here, and it is a pleasure to introduce our speakers, the Mayor of Pavia, Fabrizio Fracassi, then our Rector, the Presidents of the Polo Tecnologico, Tommaso Mazzocchi, the president of the Erasmus Student Network, Matteo Carbone, and I'm very happy to have with us today also Professor Tia, the president of the internationalization group of the CRUI, that will tell us what the Italy is actually considering and how it's considering the European Alliance. So let's start this event, and let me give the floor to our Major, Sindaco Fabrizio Fracassi. Please.
Buongiorno a tutti. L'Aula Magna della nostra storica università è il luogo delle principali cerimonie e degli eventi più rilevanti dell'Ateneo pavese, ma è anche sede di eventi di prestigio aperti alla cittadinanza. La storia e le dinamiche evolutive dell'Università di Pavia, come quello delle università europee, sono legate fin dalle loro origini alla città in cui sono nate. Tra università e la nostra città vi è un dialogo costante, uno scambio reciproco. Da questo dialogo, da questo scambio, sono nati e stanno nascendo progetti importanti, come quelli che oggi stiamo costruendo insieme a tutti voi.
Good morning, everybody. The whole of our historic university, where we are having this gathering, is the location of the most important events and ceremonies, as well as the place where prestigious events open to our citizenship take place. The history and evolution of the University of Pavia, exactly like those of the other European universities, are strongly tied to the roots of the cities in which they were born. There is a constant dialogue, a mutual exchange between the universities and our city. From this exchange, the important project and ideas have born, like the ones we are building today with you all.
Do quindi il benvenuto nella città di Pavia a tutte le delegazioni qui presenti e ringrazio l'Università di Pavia per aver coinvolto il Comune di Pavia nel progetto Europea Campus of City University, che ha rappresentato e sta rappresentando un terreno fertile in cui attivare e approfondire le relazioni con le città europee qui rappresentate. Da questo incontro è nato il progetto di gemellaggio culturale della città, che coinvolge le municipalità partner associate di Asi, Romania, Coimbra, Portogallo, Salamanca, Spagna, Turku, Finlandia e la comunità urbana di Grand Poitiers, Francia, a cui si aggiungono le due città gemellate di Hildesheim della Germania e di Besançon e spero presto anche la città di Leopoli, Ucraina.
I would like to welcome to Pavia all the delegations, and I would like to thank the University of Pavia for the involvement of the municipality in the European campus of city universities. It represents a fertile land where to activate and deepen the relations among the European cities here represented today. From this event, the project of cultural twinning of the cities has born between the partner municipalities of Iași, Romania, Coimbra, Portugal, Salamanca, Spain, Turku, Finland, and the urban community of Grand Poitiers, France, to which are added the two twin cities of Hildesheim, Germany, and Besançon, France. And I hope that soon will join us the community of Lviv, Ukraine.
La connessione reciproca nel progetto Cult Cities intende creare uno specifico contesto di confronto e di condivisione sul patrimonio materiale, culturale e la sua conservazione, la sua valorizzazione e il suo riuso sostenibile. Il patrimonio culturale è l'insieme dei beni materiali, anche paesaggistici e immateriali, rappresenta la ricchezza di un luogo e dei cittadini. Per ogni città il patrimonio culturale è una testimonianza di vita e di storia ed è anche una fonte insostituibile di ispirazione. Il nostro patrimonio è come il DNA di ogni città, determina ciò che siamo, trasmettendoci identità e valori.
The mutual connection in the Cult Cities project aims to create a specific context for discussion and sharing on cultural material heritage, its conservation, its enhancement, and its sustainable reuse. The cultural heritage is the set of material goods, including landscape and intangible ones. It represents the wealth of a place and its citizens. The cultural heritage is a testimony of life and history for every city, and it is also an irreplaceable source of inspiration. Our heritage is like the DNA of every city. It defines who we are, passing down to us identity and values.
La nostra regione, il nostro Stato e l'Europa ci indicano i principi per la tutela e la valorizzazione del patrimonio culturale. Lo Statuto della Regione Lombardia all'articolo 2 riconosce il ruolo della nostra regione per la tutela del paesaggio e la valorizzazione del patrimonio naturale, monumentale, storico, artistico e culturale della Lombardia. L'articolo 9 della Costituzione italiana recita: la Repubblica promuove lo sviluppo e la ricerca scientifica e tecnica, tutela il paesaggio e il patrimonio storico e artistico della nazione.
Our region, our state, and Europe show us the principle for the protection and enhancement of cultural heritage. The Statute of Lombardy Region, in the article number 2, recognizes the role of our region for the protection of the landscape and the enhancement of the natural, monumental, historical, artistic, and cultural heritage. The Article 9 of the Italian Constitution states the Republic promotes scientific and technical research and development. It protects the landscape and the historical and artistic heritage of the nation.
A livello europeo, la Convenzione di Faro, centrata sul valore del patrimonio culturale per la società, ha messo in luce i vantaggi sociali ed economici che si ottengono preservando il patrimonio culturale quale condizione preliminare per conseguire lo sviluppo sostenibile. Ha fornito una definizione generale di patrimonio culturale comune europeo, inteso come l'insieme di tutte le forme del patrimonio culturale, inserite nel contesto di una fonte condivisa di commemorazione, comprensione e identità. La Convenzione di Faro si sofferma in particolare sul contributo che il patrimonio culturale può dare alla creatività e alla coesione sociale per compiere progressi, così come evidenzia il legame esistente tra patrimonio culturale e sviluppo di una società pacifica e stabile, fondata sul rispetto dei diritti umani e della democrazia. Su questi tre livelli ognuno di noi può agire, consapevoli che siamo portatori di valori locali e sovralocali e che il reciproco scambio sarà arricchente e costituirà le fondamenta per costruire il futuro.
At European level, the Faro Convention, which focuses on the value of the cultural heritage for society, has highlighted the social and economic benefits of preserving cultural heritage as a precondition for achieving sustainable development. It provided a general definition of Europe's common cultural heritage as a set of all forms of cultural heritage within the context of a shared source of commemoration, understanding, and identity. The Faro Convention focuses in particular on the contribution that cultural heritage can make to creativity and social cohesion in order to make progress, as illustrated by the link between cultural heritage and the development of a peaceful and stable society based on respect for human rights and democracy. On these three levels, each one of us can act, aware that we are bearers of locals and supra-locals values, and the mutual exchange will be enriching and it will be the foundation for the future.
Nell'ambito dell'Alleanza Europea attivata da EC2U e European Campus of City University e concretizzando l'obiettivo di creare una stretta connessione tra l'Ateneo paneuropeo che intende unire le 7 università coinvolte e le città che le ospitano. Il gemellaggio culturale tra le nostre città credo apporti un valore aggiunto e costituisca il primo passo per un percorso durevole di amicizia e collaborazione. Vi ringrazio e buon proseguimento di forum.
Within the framework of the European Alliance activated by EC2U and concretizing the objective of creating a close connection between the Pan-European University that aims to unite the 7 universities involved in the related cities that host them, I believe the cultural twinning between our cities brings added value and it represents the first step in a lasting path of friendship and collaboration. Thank you, and I wish you all a good forum.
Thank you, Major, and thank you for the strict cooperation with the university. I think will be a long journey together. And now let's give the floor to our rector, Professor Svelto.
Dear EC2U friends, welcome again to Pavia. Before diving into our work of these days, please let me ask you at the opening of our forum to tribute a minute of silence to the memory of Cesario Silva, a young member of the EC2U family from the University of Coimbra, who suddenly passed away for a car accident a few weeks ago. Cesario Silva was the president of Student Association, representing all the students of the University of Coimbra and associated partner of EC2U. Cesario should have been with us today at the forum, but a brutal car accident took his life away at the age of 24. Cesario was very involved in academic and university life for many years, being also a member of the University of Coimbra General Council and being elected president of Coimbra Academic Association in December. Cesario proposed himself to be the Coimbra Academic Association representative in EC2U, contributing to increase student commitment. We will remember him and his work. Now I invite the University of Coimbra students representative to come here and tribute the Fado song in memory of Cesario. So please.
In the meantime, that the student will prepare themselves, we like to share a short video of Cesario and then ask Joao to come with us. Sorry, Joao and the mayor of Coimbra.
Dear Rector, thanks for your nice speech. Thanks for thanks for this wonderful time.
Thank you for wearing it.
Most beautiful that I have right now. Dear coordinator of EC2U, Professor Ludovic, congrats for all the great job you've been doing. Dear mayors of Pavia, all the other representatives, partners of EC2U. Today we pay tribute to a young man of 24 years old, Cesario Silva, who died about 2 weeks ago in a tragic car accident. He had been elected to the presidency of the Academic Association of Pavia, the oldest and largest student representative association, in November 2020. I did not know in person, but as vice rector of the University of Pavia, I had 3 or 4 opportunities max to meet him. All those who knew him well highlighted Cesario's kindness, feel to serve the collective. For seeing me work. On behalf of the University, we thank the emotion, the tribute that EC2U promotes to these student partners.
A warm thank you to Ludovic. A warm thank you to the rectors of the 6 other partner universities. Life is ephemeral. What remains is the example of each one of us. The example of Cesario's way of being, the example of solidarity of EC2U and its leaders. Thank you all.
There are no words to describe Cesario Silva. He was one pure person with a really pure heart, and he was the history of Instituto Academic to fight for freedom and for justice. And he was one of the biggest defenders of these 2 words. So thank you very much. And in the name of the Associação Académica de Coimbra, I salute you and thank you for this tribute that will be forever in our hearts. And I would just like to say also that it is a great honor to work together with all of you in order to see this amazing alliance grow. So I thank you all, the universities and all the partners involved. And as the Ancient Students Association in Portugal, I invite you all and all of the students involved in the EC2U project to feel free to visit us in Coimbra. Find many extracurricular activities in 15 cultural groups that are part of Associação Académica de Coimbra that can go from music, theater, reading, radio, television, ecology, technology, and gastronomy. We also have 27 sport groups from swimming to Paralympic sports, Bossia. In Associação Académica de Coimbra, as Cesario defended, no one is left behind. So I thank you all once again, and we expect you all in our beautiful city of Coimbra. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Very nice voice. I wish I had it. Again, to Cesario Silva. The new emerging challenges from climate change to energy demand, from digitization to deep globalization, will significantly impact our societies and our life. Institutions are required to revisit education programs, as well as international programs. Boundary between disciplines are less and less there. This means more competences have to be transferred to new generation in order to allow an interdisciplinary approach able to open up new discoveries and innovation. In this scenario, education has to become more inclusive, more people should have access. Even more in general, universities are required to design new programs together with other stakeholders, from city administration to innovation centers. With this strategic goal in mind, our alliance, named as we see on my left, right, and we remember many times, European Campus of Cities Universities, EC2U, has been proposed by our 7 universities and then selected by European Commission. Please let me remind all the 7. We always say 7 institutions, so I want to name them one by one. University of Coimbra, Alexandru Ioan Cuza of Iași, Friedrich Schiller University of Vienna, Poitiers, that is also the coordinator of the project, Salamanca, and Turku. I'm particularly proud that our alliance made it. We are now at half the way of the project period. It has been 1.5 years of hard work, and activities have been involving all our staff, from governing board to professor, administrations, and students, as we also listened right a few minutes ago. And many activities yesterday on the river, and many on other sport campus are seeing them very active. A shared university campus in which education, research, and innovation are at the service of the society has been built. Indeed, universities have been working together with municipalities, technology centers, student association to strengthen a true city university campus. Nice example of successful cooperation among the municipality is the application to 2 European calls for fundings. Those are cultural cities twinning with an acronym CULT cities, and entrepreneurship project for inclusivity and cohesion, EPIC. The aim of these calls is to promote municipalities and associations working together on a common theme in a long-term perspectives. Several goals have already been met and others are on their way, or at least we are making our best effort to add other pieces to promote European value and strengthen European identity. Let's mention some of them. 3 new joint master programs will be launched in the next academic year. They represent the 3 pillars of our university campus. They are not just common degrees providing multi-degree diplomas. Rather, they are our interdisciplinary answer to 3 SDGs, where our 7 universities are really well engaged. That is good health and well-being, quality of education, and sustainable cities and communities. The 3 joint degree programs have been designed foreseeing innovative pedagogic strategies, fostering unprecedented flexibility and personalized curricula. Staff and students involved will be part of an international EC2U academia, taking advantage of long as well as short-term mobility. A network including institutes, departments, and programs dedicated to innovative learning and teaching has been established, including all the 7 EC2U partner universities. The goal of these EC2U lighthouses of education is to encourage the sharing of best practices, providing the basis for long-term collaboration in the educational field. One of the challenges for the years to come is the need for lifelong learning programs, ensuring continuous upskills and reskills of competencies. Indeed, I'm excited about the activation of EC2U micro-credentials, one of the next deliverable of our university campus that will allow students, staff, and citizens to renew and upgrade their knowledge based on society needs. The EC2U educational programs, master, micro-credential, summer and winter school, will be strictly connected to the 3 virtual institutes, places where without physical walls, as we were saying yesterday afternoon, teams of students, teachers, researchers, and innovators from the 7 universities will support and implement the rapid integration of research results and or innovation into education. This will be realized through several short-term trainings, such as internships, summer-winter schools. The 3 VI, good health and well-being, quality of education, and sustainable cities and communities have been selected based on their relevance with respect to EC2U Alliance mission statement. And I'm really sure they will be the first step of several others in the years to come. These virtual institutes will foster a new way of performing research, linking to education and innovation across disciplinary and national borders. They will pave the way for new collaborative efforts among our universities, fostering application to new European goals. They will also represent a seed for joint PhD programs that have indeed been already fostered with the activation of co-funded fellowship, supporting students of our university to be engaged in research of common interests. EC2U PhD program will be an important achievement for the new years to come. EC2U campus is furthermore inspiring students and young researchers to become entrepreneurs. I'm really happy to announce that the first on-site event, the Entrepreneurial Week, will be held in Pavia in this week. To coordinate these activities, the EC2U Academia, Entrepreneurial Academia, has been launched. Our ambition for an European campus mandates dedicated communication. The University of Pavia is responsible for the design and implementation of a digitally based Connect Center. An interchange platform will allow the exchange of data regarding people's mobility. Also a knowledge hub in order to share useful information about the city, the Innovation Center, Students Association is under design. In this way, we can guarantee knowledge exchange fast and efficient. Experiences and best practices will be available with the target of achieving closer levels of integration and innovation within the Alliance. I would not be telling the whole story if I were not mentioning the obstacles and challenges that our teams have been facing. For example, regarding the new joint programs on the education, the lack of an European accreditation approach has seriously jeopardized the finalization of this true common degree. National restrictions span from curriculum criteria to tuition fee, from use of foreign languages to percentage of foreign teachers in a degree program. I'm sure that my colleague, Professor Maurizio Tira, the rector of University of Brescia, and also the vice president of Italian rectors for international programs, will tell us something later, because he has really helped us, and he did a lot in order to make our joint degree be there. And I know that he's taking as a best practice for the future for other universities. I thank you, Maurizio, really for what you did. So all the three so I said we have many obstacles. I said tuition fee, percentage of foreign teachers in the program. We did it. I said thanks to the effort of many people. All the three masters will start next year. I would really like to thank the administration of our universities for their tireless work in tight contact with the national ministry. Second, and relatively obvious limit of these 18 months has been the pandemic that has been seriously delaying our activities. Third, the Ukrainian war. We had this very emotional surprise few minutes ago, and we are very happy to include the Ukrainian University of Leopoli, and again I want to say we're very close to our Yashi colleagues for what they are doing for the refugees. Finally, significant obstacles is the fundings level. Not enough if compared to the alliance ambition and the several envisioned programs. The time frame of just 3 years is definitely too short to trigger a university campus able to reasonably move on. But opportunities to extend this alliance are offered by future European calls. We will discuss about it in these days. I can anticipate, as we have already seen, that both we will include the Ukrainian university, and we are thinking about having other universities in Europe joining us in the next year or in the second phase of EC2U. Looking back to what has been done and forward to what we are planning to do, I foresee the activation of joint and personalized European diplomas, an extension of the joint master degrees and virtual institutes to other SDGs, integrated university, inter-university campus, life at the service of society. I thank you really for your attention, and my best for this event and for tonight, for tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Grazie mille Rettore per le incoraggianti parole, e adesso passo subito, perché siamo già un po' in ritardo, la parola al Presidente del Polo. Sorry, I was speaking in Italian. So thanks Professor Svelto for his nice words, and then since we are a bit late, let's give the floor to the President of the Polo Tecnologico, Tommaso Mazzocchi.
So, dear professor and institution, dear students and organization staff, dear friends from Coimbra, Iasi, Jena, Poitiers, Salamanca, Turku, a warmly welcome also from my side to all of you in Pavia. First of all, I want to express my condolence to the Coimbra community for your loss. I didn't know. I was very touched about your tragedy. It's a big chance for us to have you here, and an incredible honor for me to open this important forum with all the other distinguished speakers. In particular, let me thank the Rector of Pavia University, Professor Francesco Svelto, and the Professor Antonella Forlino for this amazing opportunity. I just spent a few words about myself because maybe my story it's the link and the meaning about my presence here today. I am a private entrepreneur in the real estate sector. My company mission is to undertake investments that try to combine corporate profitability with many other things, such as the understanding of the growing market needs, the pursuit of architectural quality, the research of innovative construction systems and materials, and the attention on the environmental sustainability. There is also another important goal that we always face and we never forget, which is the maximization of the investment benefits also on the other stakeholder involved in our projects. I want to give you an example. Exactly 10 years ago, it was April 2012, I opened for the first time the doors of the Polo Tecnologico di Pavia, our innovation center, to the first group of small innovative companies of the city. When we started, we were only 14 companies, while today, despite the COVID period, we have 55 companies with a growing community of over 350 people connected with many others networks. So that's the reason why we always had the chance during these years to share projects with associations, investment funds, startup academies, university classes, and for sure, with a great number of other companies. This big and completely private investment could be possible for a particular alchemy, summarizing 3 points. First of all, the will of the entrepreneurs who trust the project. Second, a city like Pavia, who has its core business in culture and research. Third, the intelligence of the institution who supported the private initiative with collaboration and non-competition. I'm not just talking about the past period. During those 10 years, I've been collaborating with 3 majors and 3 rectors. And I always found the will to find the best for the city in a longer-term perspective. At the time, we didn't know, but we were doing something really particular and hardly to replicate even today. We were creating real and additional value from a good networking, an excellent example of public and private collaboration, where the final result is higher than the sum of the single elements. In conclusion, let me say how important and strategic is the alliance that we are celebrating this week. Not only because it's the perfect continuity of the daily job that we are doing at the Polo Tecnologico since the foundation, but also because of the meaning of alliance. In a changing world in which we learn, nothing can be taken for granted anymore. So thank you for your attention. I'm waiting for you tomorrow at the Polo Tecnologico for the entrepreneurial sessions. Happy EC2U forum to all of you.
Thank you, President. And now the words to Matteo Carbone, the President of the Erasmus Student Network. Matteo, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Professor Forlino, and good morning to everyone, dear EC2U friends. Thanks for this opportunity. I want to thank Professor Svelto, our rector, and our vice rector, Professor Antonella Forlino. This is a great opportunity for me. I'm Matteo Carbone. I'm the president of the STEP ESN Pavia, a non-profit organization, local section of the big universe of ESN. ESN stands for Erasmus Student Network, and this is a network that helps students in mobility. Our motto leads us is student helping student. We are volunteers. We are students that try to help all students in their mobility, like the Erasmus mobility or even the international students. We help people to know the city of Pavia. We help them to be part of that. We help them organizing conference, sport events. and also social events like you had in these past 2 days. We perfectly fit in our idea into the EC2U program because we do care about their mobility and about all the other ESN sections. All the 7 ESN sections working together can create a great environment for the student that goes into this program and that join this 3 master degree. I think that knowing each other could build a great friendship. I could make this alliance a bit more easier for students. In this EC2U alliance, we started the first post-pandemic mobility, invited our friends from ESN Yash last September. We create a podcast with the Professor Antonio Forlina and Professor Amat to presenting this forum. And we organizing part of the student program of this forum. Also, I hope that we get involved even in the future because we are so proud of being here. And thanks again to all the EC2U staff and welcome to Pavia again. Thanks.
Thank you, Matteo. At the end, the EC2U is just a student center alliance. So thanks for your words. And now, last but not least, Professor Tira, if you want to tell us something about what you think about European University Alliance. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. So I have some slides. Thank you very much to Rector Svelto, my friend Francesco, to Professor Forlino, to the Mayor, all the authorities, colleagues, students. I'm very grateful for being here. My solidarity to the Ukrainian universities and students, my condolence to the community of Coimbra, and God knows how much I would like to listen to the music instead of my voice. I love Fado, so I will really prefer to continue listening to the singing instead of myself. I always say in English, I have to sing for my dinner as well, so I will say some words. But I need to be helped by my slides. So my 3 points are, what are the pillars where we base our initiatives in Europe? One, the European strategy for universities that is recently adopted by the Commission, as you may be aware, and presented by the Commissioner Gabriel. The other one I will quote is the statement of the European University Association, University Without Walls, a vision for 2030. And the last but not least is the Next Generation EU. So if I have a pointer, I had myself. Thank you. Thank you very much. So in the strategy for universities presented by Commissioner Gabriel, there are many points, of course. To be short, these are the main pillars: strengthen the European dimension in higher education and research, support universities as lighthouses of the European way of life, empower universities as actors of change in the twin green and digital transitions, and reinforce universities as drivers for the EU's global role and leadership. I don't go all through the minor points, but for example, in the strengthen the European dimension in higher education and research, you see that the goal of the Commission is to increase the number of European alliances to 60, within including 500 universities in Europe, to work towards a legal status for alliances and universities. This is in the top of the agenda of Commissioner Gabriel. Examining options and necessary steps toward a joint European degree, such a European degree label. That is probably the next challenge following the Erasmus idea started already 35 years ago. To scale up the European Students' Card initiative by deploying a unique European student identifier. I saw that you have introduced something similar. Further develop a European quality assurance and recognition system. Implementation of the Council recommendation on promoting automatic mutual recognition of education and training qualification, which is not an easy issue to accomplish. I propose a Council recommendation on building bridges for effective European higher education cooperation. So it is a very ambitious strategy, that of the European Union, but I think that you are perfectly in line with some of these goals. I don't go through, as I said, but I think it's worth mentioning that the promote and protect European democratic values facing the crisis in Ukraine is one of our really challenges, one of the biggest of our challenges. Then reinforce universities as drivers for the EU global role and leadership, and see in this part of the strategy, you see the developing the Study Euro portal. You know, we work in Italy, for example, with a portal that is called Universitali, but the idea is to have a portal for all European teaching offers, and then close cooperation with the stakeholder and member states for cooperation with regions, for the visa procedures and so on, all the things that we need to implement cooperation. The second document I quote is the European University Association document, University Without Walls. You maybe have read, if you want, I leave you the slides, you can see, download it by internet. And it is interesting also because some of the points are common, of course. It was issued 1 year ago, so before the strategy, while the strategy was ongoing. And you see that also in the vision of European University Association, you have the open and transformative and transnational universities as a goal in the future, sustainable, diverse and engaged, strong, autonomous and accountable. In the teaching part of this document of European Association, you have the key points of the studying, teaching, research, training, lifelong learning, as the rectors already mentioned, digitalization, and so on. I don't want to bother you. There is another point in the document that is about culture, just not only education, teaching and research, but also contributing to the culture of Europe with the artistic and cultural activities. Again, how beautiful was the experience of your community in Coimbra, is the experience of your community in Coimbra, and the being at the heart of the cultural debates within the borders of the Union. To support this vision, the document of the European University Association quotes the transnational collaboration, the funding programs, and the European University Alliances, of course. The last but not least is the Next Generation EU Recovery Plan for Europe. And you can also see a document prepared by the European University Association where they try to put together and share and also compare the allocation of funding made by several European countries for the sake of education and research. I don't go through the document, but you can read and you will read the document. You see, we in Italy, for example, we have 15 billion for universities. Other countries have other allocation, but you know that we are the second most financed country within the Next Generation EU program of the European Commission. In the example of Italy, the 15 billions are devoted to students. So the number, the services, infrastructure, PhD scholarships, to academic staff and researchers. So also increasing the number of staff, both teachers and technical staff, fill in the gaps, geographical gaps, digital gaps, social and gender gaps they were still facing, improving the system, so the cooperation, the infrastructure, the timing, and also the assessment of the quality of research. It is called the Mission 4C1, and you see now in brief in the objective of our EU, Next Generation EU, we have the university at the core of the program. So 50 billions is out of 200 billions, a quite interesting amount of money. This is in Italian, sorry, but the part for education is here, student teaching and advanced competencies, active guidance. Well, the alliances, as you know, are already in two clusters, one approved in 2019 and the other in 2020. 41 alliances in Italy. There are 22 universities and 2 other institutions involved in the alliances. Only one of the alliances is led by an Italian university, but still you see that the program started in 2017 is to be increased. The call for the close the 22nd of March, and there will be a call next year for the enlargement and new alliances to reach the goal of 60 and 500 university involved. The last point, but maybe not the minus important, as Professor Svelto already mentioned, is what are the bottlenecks and the reforms we need to really implement common teaching programs, and in the light of having common titles, a common recognition of education paths towards profession in Europe, which I think is a really great challenge for our continent. Well, we have to remove the expenditure constraints. Professor Svelto already mentioned the lack of resources for these kind of programs, even if I'm sure we can use not only the call for tenders of the European Union, but also some of the money of the Next Generation EU. The introduction of mechanisms to facilitate mobility of researchers. We in Italy, are going to introduce a kind of Erasmus within our borders. So an experience of exchange students inside Italy, which is not now in the Erasmus project, but also the mobility of researchers and professors for us is quite a problem. So we have to make it much easier to move from one university to another one. In Italy, it's still difficult to move from one to another university within the country, so almost impossible. And reform the discipline of university recruitment that are quite different from one country to another. Some other constraints are related to the organization of the study programs. As Professor Svelto, the rector, said, we as a Rectors Conference are working on the reform of our legislation for the construction, evaluation, and assessment of our teaching programs. And we are using the example of Pavia and the example of EC2U University Alliance as a best practice, or at least as a case study now, and I hope a best practice, to understand where are the bottlenecks in our legislation. So we take your example because we are one of the most advanced alliance within the 22 of our Italian universities. As I said, the first is reforming what we call classi di laurea. So we have a kind of menu when we want to build up a degree that is very important because we have a legal recognition of the title that you get, where it's in Pavia or in my university or in Milan or in the South, if you follow this menu. If you do not, the legal recognition of the title is in trouble. So we have to make the more flexible as possible this menu to be able to use other education system, other courses taught abroad, and so on. And there is already a draft, a new version of a decree that is going to be used in the next months that for sure give much more flexibility to our system of building up the menus. The second point is the accreditation. When the course, is prepared, then we have a formal accreditation of our Minister of Education. And also in this way, we are working in the reform on the accreditation of the classes of degrees. That is the second point. And you know that our agency for accreditation must belong to one European also cluster of these kind of agencies. We are working because we as Italy, we do not yet are part of this cluster. And the last but not least is to share standard for student mobility and career management. So these are our now next steps that we want to follow, because we really want that you and all the alliances, and also outside the alliances, the possibility of building up multiple degrees programs, we really think is a frontier for the next step of education in Europe. But this is also important within our borders, because this is a reform that is able to implement the interdisciplinarity that we are really fostering, but we are not realizing yet, because the constraints of our legislation is still too rigid to allow programs, study programs that fit with the needs of the market and also for the need, I think, of the education of the next generation EU, that are the students that are here and in your alliance. Good luck for your alliances and my compliments. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Tira. Nice work. And now we close this section by showing the video from the rector, Professor Toder from the University of Yash. He could not join us because of the terrible situation we are living now. So I ask Chiara if she can start the video. Thank you.
Domnule rector Francesco Svelto, domnule primar Fracassi, domnilor rectori ai universităților EC2U, domnilor primari ai orașelor EC2U, dragi membri ai comunităților noastre, stimați invitați. În numele Universității Alexandru Ioan Cuza din Iași, cea mai veche instituție de învățământ superior din România, vă transmit un salut cordial și vă mulțumesc pentru invitația de a adresa câteva cuvinte participanților la cel de-al 4-lea forum al alianței noastre. Permiteți-mi să adresez gazdelor noastre călduroase felicitări pentru organizarea evenimentului, odată cu regretul faptului că activitățile curente nu mi-au permis să fiu alături la acest forum, care vizează atât comunitățile academice din cele 7 universități membre, dar și locuitorii din orașelor noastre, pe care ne dorim să implicăm în activități și proiecte comune. Ne confruntăm cu toții cu o nouă provocare, una la care nu ne-am așteptat în zilele noastre. În aceste vremuri tulburi, spiritul solidarității ne unește mai mult ca oricând. Dată fiind proximitatea de zona de conflict, Universitatea din Iași s-a implicat nemijlocit, cu toată deschiderea, utilizându-și resursele materiale și umane proprii în vederea acordării de ajutor umanitar victimelor tensiunilor militare. În acest sens au fost puse la dispoziția refugiaților profesori, studenți, elevi, familii cu copii, spații de cazare în campusul Universității din Iași și la stațiunea biologică Marina de la Agigea, județul Constanța, condiții de servire a mesei, servicii medicale, servicii de consiliere psihologică. Membrii comunității academice au răspuns de asemenea apelului de a face donații în bani și alimente atât de necesare celor în nevoie. Sunt momente dificile în care nu putem rămâne indiferenți față de tragedia studenților și colegilor noștri, cu atât mai mult cu cât în sudul Ucrainei trăiesc comunități importante de etnici români. Universitatea noastră acordă o atenție deosebită colaborării cu regiunile în care se află aceștia, promovând o educație europeană prin intermediul programelor de studii oferite. Astfel, în Republica Moldova, la Bălți și la Chișinău, funcționează extensiunile deschise acum 10 ani, iar alte programe cu diplomă dublă cu universități din Republica Moldova se află în desfășurare. Inițiative similare, de dată recentă, sunt puse în practică și în Ucraina, prin colaborarea cu Universitatea de Științe Umaniste din Ismail, Universitatea din Cernăuți, Universitatea Națională de Economie din Odessa. Apreciez în mod deosebit susținerea de care ne-am bucurat din partea familiei EC2U în demersurile noastre din această perioadă, prin luări de poziții la nivel european, prin strângerea de fonduri destinate refugiaților sau prin sprijin de ordin academic oferit studenților și colegilor noștri din Ucraina. Închei prin a vă dori să vă bucurați de întâlniri de lucru fructuoase la Pavia și prin a vă invita la toamnă, la Iași, când vom fi onorați să găzduim forumul EC2U. Vă mulțumesc! Domnule rector Francesco Svelto,
Okay, thank you. It was a really nice message from the rector from Yash. Even if he could not join us, we really appreciate it. So let me just close. We are a bit late, but a few words to thanks all the speaker, the major, Fabrizio Fracassi, our rector, Tommaso Mazzocchi, Matteo Carbone, and of course, Professor Tira. And then I leave the floor to our coordinator to start the last part of the opening, that is the inaugural event. So Ludovic Tilly, if you want to come up, I don't know if we want to just sit down so we can see the video. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, dear colleagues, dear partners. It was really good to see all this energy at the service of our objectives. And I will be very short in the introduction of this next part of the opening, because indeed we are a bit behind schedule. The topic of this second part is how to unlock the circulation of knowledge. I will not be long, because as you could see, at all what we are developing within the EC2U Alliance is actually trying indeed to unlock the circulation of knowledge, the circulation of students, the circulation of staff, the circulation of researchers. It means circulation within the universities, within the Alliance, but also with the local authorities, partnership with citizens. But as you will see, we are belonging to a much more important system, which is the European system. So we have invited the Director General for Education, Youth, Sport and Culture at the European Commission, Ms. Themis Christophidou, because she was unable to join us partly because of the situation that is happening in Ukraine. She kindly recorded a video that we will now watch. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear professors, dear students, I'm happy to address this fourth forum of the EC2U European University. I was hoping to be able to be there in person after 2 years of pandemic and celebrate a return to normality with you today. Unfortunately, it is not easy to do so in the midst of the war against Ukraine and the consequences and emergencies we are dealing with. I know that many of you and your institutions have mobilized to help, and I thank you for this remarkable show of support. I'm very touched by your partnership with the University Ivan Franko in the beautiful city of Lviv, offering shelter to so many people fleeing from other parts of Ukraine as we speak. Much like EC2U, the European Commission also stands firm in solidarity with the people of Ukraine. We are mobilizing our programs to make sure as many people as possible continue their work and their studies despite the war. We support the higher education systems of the countries hosting Ukrainian refugees. After all, the pursuit of knowledge, learning, and working towards the common good are precisely the opposite of this senseless war. In the former, we all win. In the latter, we all lose. To support higher education is to support the ties between European countries, the ties between our peoples, the ties that bind our democracy together. And university cooperation is an important aspect of this support, which is why the recently adopted European strategy for universities is so important. We want universities to work together, to support each other, promote knowledge circulation, stimulate innovation, pool resources, and stand up for our shared values. I'm proud to see that EC2U is leading the way here through multi-sectorial and multi-actor cooperation. Through mobility, joint campuses, and joint degrees, you foster the kind of community we need. A community that values knowledge, diversity, and peace. A community that faces challenges head-on, for example, through your entrepreneurial academy. A community that sees education and research as two sides of the same coin, as you do through your virtual institutes. The European strategy for universities is precisely about enabling institutions, and especially alliances like yours, to reflect our values and our European identity in higher education and research. To succeed, we need to ensure circulation of knowledge through mobility and cooperation. This is where the work towards a legal statute for alliances of higher education institutions is so important. And this is why we're exploring options towards a joint degree. And it is why we're continuing to digitize mobility through the European Student Card Initiative. You are key in this context. The European universities are one of the main engines driving the implementation of the strategy. The work that you're doing in EC2U functions as a laboratory. It showcases innovative ways to make knowledge flow within, between, and beyond universities. This is to the benefit of business, of civil society, and of policymakers, which is why we rely on your input and feedback. I can only encourage you to continue to work together and continue to talk to us. This already has a massive impact across the whole higher education community. The strategy, informed by European universities as it is yet another example of your impact. A long-lasting impact, contributing to build a resilient and better future. A future, I hope, in peace. I wish you a fruitful forum. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, of course, Director General Christophidou could not be with us, but I think indeed the message that she sent to us is very positive, showing that not only the Commission is very much aware of all the progress we're making, but also showing that we are indeed progressing in the right direction. In this direction, we also want to build the future. And the future in the current context means also that we can bring on board some partners coming from Ukraine. This has been decided by the 7 rectors. We have looked at the active partnership that we all had already with some Ukrainian universities, and it was unanimously proposed that the Ivan Franko University of Lviv in Ukraine would join the EC2U Alliance as a strategic partner. So it's really a true pleasure, a true honor to now have the colleagues from the University Lviv, Ivan Franko of Lviv University, connected online, hopefully. And yes, I see them, wonderful. And it's my pleasure to give the floor to the Vice Rector for International Affairs, Sergei Riznik, who will introduce the different speakers. I hand over to you, Sergei, and thank you so much for your patience. We are all looking to you and hearing you now.
Thank you. Thank you, dear Ludovic, for giving me the floor and for your personal contribution to this event and this ceremony. And because of timing reasons, I now want to give the floor to our rector, corresponding member of the National Academy of Sciences of Ukraine, Professor Volodymyr Melnik.
Дякую.
Highly esteemed rectors of universities and highly esteemed representatives of the European Commission, highly esteemed Mr. Mayor and representatives of the business and the community, honored colleagues. I would like to express my sincere gratitude and my deep gratitude for your dignity and for your support and solidarity with the Ukrainian nation in our fight against the Russian aggressor. It is very important that you stand together with us because Ukraine is defending not only its sovereignty and territorial integrity, but also its European choice, democracy, and freedom as one of the basic civilizational values. At the same time, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to you for your proposal to our university to join the alliance of the European universities EC2U as an associate partner. EC2U is unique in its ideology and structure. It includes the universities of Vienna, Poitiers, Pavia, Coimbra, Salamanca, which represents the classical Europe with its basic values that have been recognized for centuries. University of Turku represents the North European continent, and the University of Yas is a bright example of young Eastern Europe, open to changes and development. By uniting into an alliance, you reflect the essence of being multicultural, polynational, and diverse, being the Europe that you are. On our part, Ivan Franko National University of Lviv, as one of the oldest universities, not only in Ukraine, but also in the Eastern Europe, because it was founded back in 1661, we have been consistent in our activity. We have always been a part of the European educational system, European research and cultural space, with a relatively short 40-year break when Lviv was occupied by the Soviet Union. And this specific feature of Lviv University is additional proof of great prospects of our joint work within the Alliance. We are really grateful to you for the interest in the cooperation with the university, which is the result of the joint efforts of the university and the efforts of our academic staff, our students, who feel that they are part of the European and global community. As of today, Lviv University has been cooperating with over 250 international educational and research institutions in 50 countries of the world. And each of these cooperation agreements opens the prospects to students and academic staff of the university to interact, to communicate with foreign research and educational institutions, to hold joint research, and to improve our educational programs. An especially important role in this international communication is played by the dual diploma programs, dual degree programs with the European universities. And we actually expect to be able to cooperate in this area with your institutions. And we also believe that the European university campus has this joint feeling of identity, and one of its priorities is the innovative model of education and science and inclusive education. And these goals of the Alliance, they are very much in line with the strategies of the Lviv University as of 2021-2025, namely ensuring high quality of education, reaching the top standards in research and innovations, and also creating of the modern information and communication and also social infrastructure. Distinguished colleagues, by visiting our university, and we believe that very soon you will be able to visit our university, you will see the slogan over our main building, Patria Decoris Civibus Educandis. Well, educated citizens are a decoration of their homeland. And education, it's not about just skills and knowledge. It's about the values and it's about the ideas without which full-fledged life is impossible. These are the values of democracy, freedom, equality, and human rights. We all know the idea of the European Union, the unity in diversity. And now in modern conditions, it has gone way beyond the European Union and has become important for the whole civilized world. Today is a very important world and the day, and we value very much that the European academic community has been standing united in front of the challenges that they have never faced before. And we are very happy that we have an opportunity to stand side by side with our reliable friends and partners from the EC2U Alliance. And I would like to thank you once again to express my sincere gratitude for the opportunity to create the future together. We are strong when we stand together. Glory to Ukraine. Distinguished representatives of the academic community, distinguished representatives of the university, honored colleagues. The war with the Russian aggressor changed our life. For the last 42 days, Ukraine has lost thousands of lives. And Lviv has become a hub which provides the shelter for many people. It is important, it has become an important center for the whole Ukraine. The educational institutions have turned into shelters for people coming from other places. And I would like to express my personal gratitude to Lviv University for helping people who are fleeing from the war. And I would like to thank the European universities who are doing the same. Since the beginning of the war, Lviv has not only become the humanitarian hub, but it has also mobilized more than 30,000 soldiers who have gone to fight for Ukraine to defend it against the aggressor. War with the Russian aggressor has shown not only the fact that we are standing united, but it also shows that we are defending the respective values, the democratic values. And I would like to honor the contribution of the Ivan Franko National University of Lviv, which is providing education to its students despite all the challenges on their way. Well, they are helping those people who have lost the opportunity to get the education because of the war. The Lviv Regional Civil and Military Administration will do everything it can to extend international cooperation between the educational institutions, because international cooperation is a very effective tool of the state policy, which provides for the implementation of the European standards into the educational program. And I would like to note the importance of cooperation with our partners, not only in education, but in other spheres of life. Due to your assistance, to you, we have got a lot of support. I have been meeting the mayors of various cities from Italy, from Portugal, and from many other countries. And due to you, hundreds of thousands of humanitarian cargoes come to Lviv, from where it is transported throughout Ukraine. And I would like to thank other countries for accepting Ukrainian children who need treatment to their hospitals. I'm grateful to the representatives of France who have sent well, about 10 vehicles. A great thank you also goes to Romania, Finland, Portugal, Spain for all the support. You have become our partners not only in education, but you have become our friends. Friends in need. We are very grateful for your support of Ukraine and also for the recognition of the achievements of Lviv University and for the present and future cooperation. Glory to Ukraine.
Colleagues, dear Ludovic, we give the floor back to you for the next part of our ceremony.
Thank you very much. I hope you could hear the very warm applause here in the room. So thank you very much, Rector Melnik. Thank you very much, Regional Administrator Kozinski. Also, thank you very much, Vice Rector Rinsnik, for the very important message that we, of course, fully support. And we want now to transform these speeches into reality, and it will start now with the signature of a memorandum of understanding that will define the strategic partnership between our 8 universities. And with this signature, you are becoming a member of the EC2U family. So I'm going actually to call each rector one after another in the order of the alphabetical order, actually, as we can see it on the MOU. So we will start with the University of Coimbra and have the pleasure to call the Vice Rector, João Calvão, who is representing Amilcar Falsao, who is the rector who could not be with us. Please, João, if you can come here to sign. Thank you very much. For the University of Iași, Rector Tudorel Toader has already signed the MOU. So actually the partnership has already started before the speeches because he could not be with us. So this has been already signed by the University of Iași. Then I'm very pleased to call the rector, the president from the Friedrich Schiller University of Vienna, Walter Rosenthal. Please, Walter. Thank you very much. Now I will call the rector from the University of Pavia, Francesco Svelto. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now it's a double pleasure, should I say, to call my own rector, Virginie Laval from University of Poitiers, until now the only woman rector in the EC2U family, but who knows what the future will be. Thank you very much. Now I will call on behalf of the rector of the University of Salamanca, who was with us, but for traveling reasons, he had to leave us before the end of this opening. So I'm very pleased to welcome also a dear friend, Vice Rector Efrem Yildiz from the University of Salamanca. Thank you very much. Now I'm delighted to call the rector from the University of Turku, Yuka Kola. Please, Yuka. Thank you very much. And now this is really an honor to welcome the signature from the rector of the Ivan Franko University of Lviv, Professor Volodymyr Melnik. Please, we are all looking to your signature now. Thank you very much. So welcome, a warm welcome to the EC2U family, and you can count on us, and you have all our support. And with this historical moment in the history of the EC2U Alliance, I'm very pleased to close the opening. It's just the beginning of the week, and it's just the beginning of a long journey with the 8 EC2U universities. Thank you all. Thank you to the technical staff. Thank you to the colleagues in Lviv. It's a great day. Thank you.